Hey, Charlie Beer here. I'm an undergraduate marketing major, BIA minor. And for this session, I went to the session on using XR technology in the classroom and the future of these XR technologies in education as a whole. Um, lost my lost my train of thought there. Yeah, so they were talking about using XR technology in the classroom, and it was kind of it was mostly about figuring out how to optimize using these next generation technologies in a classroom environment in a way that actually helps kids grow rather than like kind of the AI problem where it cuts corners a little bit and kids are using it in ways that aren't actually helping them grow, but taking shortcuts. This is a new way to think about it where instead of just being like a hands-on physical, you have to look at it and do it, but like you're not really thinking about it. They want to enter what they call the spatial era, where instead of using like we're not like staring at a phone in your pocket or staring at your computer screen all the time. Instead, you get to look into the world, like experience it in front of you and hands-on, which is something I've always loved. I've always been a hands-on learner. Science class was always my favorite because you got to do those little experiments and stuff where instead of just being told like, oh, this plus this, like you add heat and fuel and you give it some oxygen and you get a fire, like you need to actually have like the hands-on experience of like putting that together and being able to feel it for you to, or at least for learners like me to be able to truly like connect with the lessons. I need to be able to experience it hands-on. And that's what they were talking about in the future of this. They had uh, three different colleges send down people that were experts in the heads of the experiential learning departments at their school. And it was from Georgia State, Boulder, University of Texas, right down the road, or actually it was four, and ASU was there as well. And they each had sent like the leader of their XR technology specializing departments at each of those schools to come down here. And it was the reason they came back down was because last year they actually ended up forming, I forget the exact name, but it was basically a coalition of schools and departments and different organizations working together to expand our use of XR technology, especially in an educational setting because they know the capabilities it has, especially these high level people who are already using it in their colleges and seeing firsthand how much it's helping students grow. They really wanted to expand that as far as they can. And the way they're doing that is by instead of just trying to figure it out within your own school or something like that, they're crossing not only the borders of schools to help other departments that are similar to theirs, but they're going across every single major to find a way that every single student can benefit from this technology rather than just curating it for specific like engineering or arts majors where it may be easier to see the applications for it. Actually finding a way where every student has access to this technology and it's helping them learn and grow as people. Um, they were like on that same note, they were talking about how this isn't something that one school is just going to be able to accomplish on their own. They're not going to be, it's not like ASU tomorrow is going to be able to find a way where every student is using VR technology to help them learn in some way. It's something that we have to come together to find those ways that we can adapt this technology to help all the students grow. And it's something I'm really looking forward to because I mean, I know I'm virtually done with school at this point, so it's not something I'm going to get to experience, but I know that there's so many kids in this next generation that are going to be hands-on learners. And with the rise of ADHD becoming a more serious problem in an educational setting with the amount of distractions from technology that are available, I think this is going to be a way that we can really turn that around and start getting kids to actually be engaged in school without having to try and motivate them through some like extraneous circumstances that make them want to find it and like give them a reason to do it. Um, it was also really cool to hear about the partnership they formed because they were talking about how some of the partners that are in this partnership are small groups of 10 to 15 people at a company or a specific learning institute that are there not necessarily because they're going to be providing the greatest input or have the data that will help them lead that next generation, but because those are the kind of people who want to be using that tech and wouldn't be able to figure it out on their own. They don't have the capabilities at their institutes to just adopt it and start using it full spread. They can ask everyone else like, "Oh, what types of systems are you using? How are you guys implementing this in the classroom? Like, oh, are there ways that you think we can do it?" And that collaborative effort is really helping them to grow it far beyond just big state schools that have a bunch of money from tuition, but instead it's helping all people at all levels of income and support, and it's really cool to hear that. And what I really liked was about how it's kind of trying to find a balance of the like development, engineering, physical science kind of side of it and the art side of things because all those independently have their own applications for how to use it. There's a lot of different XR and AR uses for in the art world where you're using the virtual space to create art. And there's a lot of tech where you can like visualize what you're building in an engineering capacity, but it's about finding that middle ground where everyone can use it and it's actually beneficial across the board rather than just helping in those niche categories. And it's something, again, I'm very excited to see in the future. And being able to work with it would be something I'd find really interesting because I do like the coding and like the background side of things where you're building that from scratch. You're just using the engines available on a computer to improve learning across the board without having it be some extremely expensive endeavor that's going to cost billions and billions of taxpayers' dollars. Something we can come together and solve right now and using the iPhones that every kid has in their pocket, they can take a step beyond what they're currently doing and be way more engaged in it. And I'm so excited to see it. And it's yeah, the biggest thing they talked about and what resonated with me is that collaboration is the only way we're going to achieve these changes. It's across the board. There's so few major problems that anyone can solve on their own. And so finding the people to be able to work with and actually make those changes possible is one of the first and hardest steps in doing so. And once you get that team together who's passionate about solving a problem, it's like a snowball going down a hill. It just starts going faster, bigger, and better. And every second it gets a little bit closer to the solution you're looking for. Thank you.